tanto silenzio.
It is a day of mourning for people around the world. Bells tolling in church towers from Rome to the Philippines to America. Pope Francis passing away overnight at the age of 88. The Vatican saying that Francis died of a cerebral stroke that put him into a coma and then led to irreversible heart failure.
And let's take a live look right now at Vatican City tonight. It is midnight there, and it has been packed all day in St. Peter's Square with people mourning and honoring Pope Francis. And people in Minnesota also honoring the late Pope as well.
A mass this afternoon at the Cathedral of St. Paul happening, and Fox 9's Rob Olson was there for it. Rob, the Archbishop of St. Paul in Minneapolis, even sharing some personal stories of meeting the pontiff.
Yeah, Archbishop Bernard Hebda had met Pope Francis a number of times. He told the people here during Mass that he had this funny thing that he would say when he met people. He would say, "Please pray for me," and then sort of quickly and quietly add, "Don't pray against me." You know, he mentioned that Pope Francis last week had gone to pray at the Papal Basilica of St. Mary Major, which is something he would do before he took a big journey, and noted that's exactly what he did this morning, wasn't it?
A noon mass arranged in a matter of hours at the Cathedral of St. Paul.
He certainly embodied the call of Christ to be humble, to serve the poor.
Drawing in the faithful and the grateful.
Person of great mercy and love and justice.
Peace be with you.
A service for Pope Francis to pray in his passing and to reflect on an impact on a 2,000-year-old church that Francis led for just 12 years.
I had the privilege, just by chance, of being in Rome right after the Holy Father was elected.
Archbishop Bernard Hebda of this Diocese of St. Paul in Minneapolis was appointed by Francis 9 years ago. The Pope told him his job was to listen, and from the beginning, Francis made clear his papacy would concern itself with those suffering in all forms.
What would this man from the New World have to say to the church and to the world? And his very first message was a message of mercy.
In his last days, Hebda suspects that Francis could sense the end, that his surprise appearances around Easter in frail health were simply setting a final fitting example.
A Christian's supposed to empty himself or herself, and that's what we saw Pope Francis doing, so pushing, right? And I can only imagine that his doctors were thinking, this is crazy.
This initial Mass here is just the beginning of 9 days of them to mourn a Pope's passing. And in the grief is also the hope that the influence of Francis on this church can carry on.
He definitely championed the margins. He wanted people on the margins to feel included and welcomed in the church, which is a great thing.
Yeah, and people telling me they hope his successor kind of carries on those concerns. Now, as far as the 9 days of mourning, the 9 days of masses, those haven't been scheduled yet. The Cathedral Hills here saying they're waiting for the Vatican to set what those 9 days will be, when they will commence. A funeral probably happening, you know, within a week, and the conclave to elect a new pope. That is supposed to happen between 15 and 20 days after the Pope's passing. But again, that date not officially set, but that's when that can be expected. Live in St. Paul, Rob Olson, Fox 9.